All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Kakadash, double honors to the apostles of the GMS, and the sincere Shalom to the brothers out there pushing this truth and sincerity, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. Now, what I have here is North Korea launches a ballistic missile from a train, which I'm gonna play without really the audio because it's just speaking in Korean. So, of course, unless you kind of understand Korean, but that's about it. But apparently, they're launching missiles from trains, and hell, I wouldn't be surprised what the next thing they try to do it from. Probably even cars or truck if they could. But the fact that they could get an actual train to shoot missiles, which I think I heard of someone doing before, could be wrong. But if imagine the fact that if they can get an entire list of trains, like at least these two in the back, they can fire off multiple rockets or multiple missiles, I should say, and everybody's coming up with some form of way to cause destruction. Not just Korea, not just America, but other countries. You even got China doing it. Russia's been doing it, and you're gonna have what you call a full scale war, because that's what this is going to lead to. So it says North Korea released a video of their first ever test launch of ballistic missile from a modified rail car, and the result is sure to dazzle steampunk fans while simultaneously escalating geopolitical anxiety in an already taut region of the globe. It says, based on an analysis by S2 Underground, the munition itself appears to be a nuclear-capable, short-range KN-23 solid-state ballistic missile launched from a transporter erector launcher that is originally attached to some sort of wheeled ground transport vehicle. While North Korea's peacocking of armament isn't anything new, the timing couldn't be worse. China has all but announced its inevitable attempt to seize Taiwan, and the U.S. is now partnering with Australia to procure nuclear submarines. Additionally, Japan is holding its largest military exercise in almost 30 years. The Asia Pacific region is looking like a poorly stored powder keg in a dry spell. And there you go. It's going to be a full-scale war with all of this going on. You're talking about China is basically announcing its inevitable attempt to seize Taiwan, which means they're saying they're going to win. America's backing Australia all of a sudden to make a procure nuclear submarine. I mean, submarines was basically always a thing where you see missiles coming from them anyways. But he's talking about a nuclear missile this time. That's not something you hear of. A nuclear missile coming from the submarine, whether on top or from the water, they ready. They said the time for talk is over. Now it's ready. Now we about ready to see who nukes who the hardest. That's all it's basically boiled down to. This is Joel 3 and 2. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land. So when you go into the word plead, it's not just begging for them begging. He's not the Lord begging them to stop or give them back the nation of Israel. No, he said, "I'm gonna plead there for my people," meaning he's trying to destroy these nations. This all this everything. That because I mean it's the best setup. Because why? What's the point of doing it individually when you can gather them all in one area and wipe them off the face of the map? Easy job. Now everybody's left defenseless, and it's like a more it's like this whole life scenario when you think about it, it's like a whole big tale story and a video game really or like a movie. This is all what it is. This is it's the perfect end all be all, and this is what it all it was. This is all it leads to because all these nations are going to suffer the same punishment of being destroyed from this mess, especially this place that they call America, Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon, I should say. This is Isaiah 13:5. It says, "They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, even and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land." And that's exactly what happened. You have not only Babylon, you got Russia, China, now Iran, and I wouldn't be surprised Taliban makes their same ones. And now you got North Korea. All the major areas have missiles. When you sit there and look at it, and yet they have the nerve to have embassies, which we know, even they know, that's a temporary thing. Because as you can tell, if this was a permanent thing, they wouldn't be fighting amongst each other. But here it is. If someone crosses the line, hey, I'm gonna fight you. And of course, Babylon is like, I'm gonna side with you because hey, this is what I want to do. Now I'm gonna side with you because I gotta fund both wars. But then ultimately, I'm gonna stick with who I want to win this war. And technically, none of these wars ever ended. When you really realistically think about it, because one war led to another war, led to another war, which led to another war. Yeah, where were one, two, you had the Cold Wars, which they said never ended. They said they've been going on for 20 years. From 2001 to 2021. So the wars never ended. It just got worse as they kept going. And then they hid the fact that these wars was getting worse anyways, so people could live comfortably. They wouldn't. They would say, "Oh, it's just a Cold War. The war is small. They just holding posts. Some may die, some don't." And that's what I heard at school. I literally that's all I heard was school. They was like the Cold War is not even really a war, but behind the scene, it really is a war. They just don't want. They just put a veil on these people here to make it believe or sound like there is no war going on. But the whole time there's been a war for the past 20 years. I mean, think about it. You can't say that it's called a Cold War, but there's no war. That makes no sense. War means war. You can't just say, "Oh, we're having war," but this is a small war. Like that sounds like a child's game. This war has been going on for the longest. It's just been hidden because the average citizen they don't want the average citizen to keep worrying whether this place is going to get invaded or not. And he's all smart for it because he says I need my workers to focus on working. Let them live comfortably, lavishly, until when this place really kicks off, especially with World War III. Hey, these people don't know what to do. These people freaking out. They don't know what to do. Hey, this is what we want. This is what we need to do next. It's a great setup in their ways of wickedness. So these people are in for a rude awakening when they find out that these missiles isn't just for show. It's just not only for testing. They only test it to see how destructive it can be. Because you know full well this is their new favorite toy. So they're eager to actually be able to go out and use it on something or someone. I mean, think about it. You get, for the average person, you get a car for your first time. And it was a car that or you get a car that you really wanted. Well, best believe you're not just gonna be like, hey, I'm just only using this barely. I'm just gonna barely use this car. That's about it. No, I'm gonna go out and actually have some fun with this car because hey, this is the car I wanted. Well, it's the same way with these guys. They're not just gonna make a missile and not test it out or even use it. They're gonna use it on something. And if they say, hey, I don't like how this runs, let's make it better. They're gonna do it. That's why they keep making tests. These people are in for a rude awakening that these tests are not jokes. These tests is going to be live action. And there's nothing these people are going to do, they can do about it, which we expect. They can't do nothing about it. But these people ain't prepared to understand that this is far beyond what the average people think, especially even politically. But these people fail to understand that war is war, whether they like it or not, whether they understand it or not. When you in, I was having that conversation with someone before. When it comes to war, you're going to use anything you have to win, just much like a strategist or someone that has to plan ahead on how to make their battlefield win. It's not about fair game. It's about using every trick in the book to win, so I can realize my dream, what I want or what my goal to be. And it's as simple as that. And these people don't get that. But they'll just say suit it off. But that's all I wanted to go into with that. So, Lord, this was a little edifying. And with that, Shalom.